Batman Fights Dracula is a 1967 Filipino comedy film. The plot follows, well, guess. Despite this film wasn't officially authorized by DC Comics. This isn't actually the only lost, unauthorized 1960s film featuring Batman and Dracula. There's also Andy Warhol's Batman Dracula, but this one's more interesting. Now, why do people want to find this movie? Because it's Batman fighting Dracula and it's made in the Philippines, and that's cool, man. Most information on the film can be found on this Filipino blog. Link is in the description below. I'll also link to El Supersonic Q's video on the subject. Now, as for my thoughts on the film being found, I think there's a chance it can be found as there's no proof of it being destroyed or anything. So, I give it a rating of I'm hopeful. The most mysterious song on the internet, also known as Like the Wind, Blind the Wind, Check It In, Check It Out, Take It In, Take It Out, yeah, it only has a couple of titles, is a fully found song, so why is it on here, you ask? No one knows who created it. You're hearing it in the background right now, and man, this song is really good. Too good for us to not know who created it. It was most likely created around 1984. A kid named Darius recorded the song from a West German radio station with a name I'm not even going to begin to pronounce in the 1980s, obviously, because, you know, the whole West Germany thing. His sister posted the song online, attempting to find the origin of it. It spread across the internet until eventually this guy Gabriel Pellinson began searching for the origin and founded the subreddit r/themostmysteriousSong, which I'll link to in the description. I, like most people, found out about this mystery from Wang's videos on the subject, which go more in depth and you should watch if interested. Link is in the description. We've also received a complete version of the song from Darius's sister. Since then, contacts have been made with multiple radio jockeys, musicians, and people associated with musicians in an attempt to find the origin of the song. All of these efforts have been fruitless. I think we're cooked with this one. The song was most likely recorded in the early to mid 80s, and the search has been going on since 2004, and has had attention put on it since 2019. Nothing has come during that time, and I'm sadly worried nothing will. I'm giving this a rating of we're cooked. Or is a similar situation to the most mysterious song, except it might be the one that deserves that title, as we only have a 17-second snippet of it, and the person who originally posted it went missing. Suspicious. Also, there's no evidence that the song existed before 2021. Around the time lost songs were becoming popular. It's probably nothing though. It sounds like the theme to a sitcom or a commercial jingle, but it's very unlikely, as I don't think a sitcom would be that obscure, and the lyrics are too depressing for a commercial jingle. There was a theory that it could have been the jingle for a clothing brand called Ulterior, but the company has stated that they have never created a jingle before. But that doesn't mean they haven't used one before. Another theory is that it was a demo created by Savage Garden. After this theory became popular, member Darren Hayes tweeted out, "Everyone knows that," a tweet which has since been deleted and not followed up on. Thanks a lot. I think he was just trolling. A lot of people like to point out that a Lindrum is used, a drum machine that wasn't released until 1982. Now we have to get into the unsavory theory that pisses off many an EKT fan, that the original poster of the song to What's That Song, Carl92, made it himself. Now you may be asking why he would do this and just disappear. I mean, that's not how you build up a resume, but there are people evil enough out there to create a 17-second song just to troll people. And I mean, look at the lyrics. It's like a hint. The biggest piece of evidence to support this theory is that there is zero evidence of the song existing before 2021. However, a big hit against this theory is that Carl92 has a normal post history otherwise. But it's only one song originating from his home country of Spain, but it could also be a cover-up. If it is a real song, I'm going to bet money that it is entitled Ulterior Motives, and not everyone knows that, for petty reasons. Also, the Lost Media Wiki lists it as partially found. My bad, I didn't know the song was 33 seconds long. Oh wait, no one knows how long it is, so it's better to assume it's partially lost. Anyways, if you want to learn more about it, I've linked a video where El Supersonic Q talks about it, All Things Lost video on it, and Kylie Bogley's video on it. The song slaps though. Yeah Yeah Beebiss 1 is the name of a potential lost NES game that first appeared in a June 1989 issue of Video Games and Computer Entertainment, part of a catalog listing for mail-order video game service Play It Again. The title could also be found in advertisements from them later in that year. It could also be found in a listing by Funko. No, not that one. That was very similar to Play It Again's from October to December of 1989. The most popular theory surrounding the game is that it was a copyright trap to see if any other mail order services would copy their list. It's probably true, as I'll discuss later, but that's not how copyright law works. It's also theorized that it was a placeholder, since there are no other games in the Y section. Weird, given the fact that Y appears before X in these catalogs. Another theory states that it was an unlicensed game, hence why we don't know what game it is, potentially Color Dream's Baby Boomer. It's also alleged that it was the poorly translated name for an NES port of the Famicom game Rai Rai Kyonchi's Baby Kyonchi no Amida Daiboken. I think our minds have been too warped by internet slang, so we think of games about babies, but it could have been a game about bees. It also could have been a Twin Bee game, but I don't think it's that hard to translate the title of Twin Bee, and I think it's weird to make it Stranger. It's such a weird title, and I feel like if they were going to release Rai Rai Kyonchi's, they would have titled it something boring like Chinese Vampire Adventure. There's also no proof of a Western release of Rai Rai Kyonchi's ever being planned, but there are tons of Famicom games, cancelled games, and arcade games that were never ported to consoles on the listings, so that muddies up the search even more. Honestly, I think I'm going to, and we need to, start looking for proof from Bandai that they were going to release the game on the NES if I ever figure out who to contact. So if anyone has any connection to anyone who worked at a Western branch of Bandai, hit me up. I've looked a little bit, but I can't find even basic information like who was the head of Bandai America or Bandai UK at the time anywhere. Another theory was proposed by Nintendo Age user Luigi Master, stating that it was Atlantis no Nazo or Super Pitfall 2, and they're definitely a Mental Olympics gold champion. Since then, Lost Media Wiki users have contacted Funko and Play It Again staff, including Neil Levin, the founder of Play It Again, who said that they would often put in fake entries in their listings to catch copycats, so this basically all but confirms that it's fake. The only reason it isn't a confirmation is that he wasn't the one who created the listing, and people have been unable to contact the person who did. One hope I have that this mystery will be solved is maybe someone saw the game and thought the name was insane and ordered it, but I guess no one did that because no one's claimed to in the past 35 years. If you want more, albeit slightly outdated info on Yeah Yeah Beebiss 1, check out El Supersonic Q's and All Things Lost videos on the topic. Links in the description. Yeah, I think it's fake. The Sonic 1 Tokyo Toy Show prototype. Putting this here to appease you Sonic fans, but also because it's probably the most sought after video game prototype right now. I've already made a video about lost Sonic 1 versions where I briefly discuss it that I recommend you check out, so the discussion is going to be briefer here. Basically, It was a demo for Sonic 1 that was showcased at the 1990 Tokyo Toy Show, featuring a very early version of the game that was more of a generic Mario-like surreal fantasy platformer with elements that were scrapped from the final game. All we have left are screenshots. Either Sega themselves have it, or it was stolen. I don't think we're cooked with this one. I genuinely have hope that this will be found, as it is real and rather famous, so I'll give this a rating of hopeful. Meso Blues was a 1993 animated short created by Van Partible, featuring an Elvis impersonator who went on to become Partible's Hanna-Barbera Cartoon Network character, Johnny Bravo. Partible has stated that he has the only copies of it and only ever shows it to colleagues and students of his animation classes. So, how do I sign up for these animation classes? He stated that he has no plans to release it thanks to its internal value to his growth as an animator. Something's off, something's suspicious here. I'm betting you it contains something horrendous. Okay, it probably doesn't, but it's still strange that he's refused to release the entire thing, as only a few seconds of footage have been publicly revealed, which I'll link to in the description below. I just don't think his reasoning is good enough. At some point, he won't be able to only show it to people personally. It's also suspicious how none of his students have come forward with anything. I'll link L Supersonic Q's videos on it in the description. I think we have hope of it being released if Partible ever eases up. I'll give this one a rating of hopeful. Hitogata was a Japanese PSA that supposedly aired in the late 90s. I'll just take my description from this 2chan post about it. There was this terribly scary commercial. I still have it constantly left in my memory. There were two white human figures depicted against a black backdrop, and this noise going con con kept ringing. What's sure is the part that went, every 2 seconds a man dies on Earth, and when the noise is repeated again, the other figure disappears. In the next instant, the human figure returns back to its original place, and now the other one disappears. It was a commercial with only that repeating over and over. Supposedly it was a PSA for train safety. Now, as much as this sounds like some creepypasta, this was posted in 2004. Also, people thought Clockman was a creepypasta, and that was real, so I think it exists. There are tons of recreations on YouTube, and sadly, they're making it harder to find the original. There's also the fact that this has found traction in non-Japanese lost media communities, and there's a language barrier making it hard to reach out to anyone who claimed to have seen the PSA and would be able to identify anything that would be found, like with Clockman. I'll link to Blame It on Jorge's video on the subject if you want to know more. I'll rate this as hopeful. Me and My Friends was the pilot to the Nickelodeon show The Backyardigans, created in 1998. Unlike the final show, it was filmed using live actors and costumes. All that has been released of it have been some images and bits and pieces of footage. I'll link to Sewer Reviewers' videos on the subject. I'm gonna give this a rating of hopeful. I honestly think this might be the first thing from this video that gets found, but I'm not betting on it. Slamfest 99 was a live stream filmed in 1999. Yes, 1999. To promote the original Super Smash Bros. For the N64. It featured people in the costumes used in the iconic North American commercial fighting. All we have are photos, and the leads haven't given us anything more substantial than that. I'll link to L Supersonic Q's videos on it. This is probably the most frustrating search going on right now, because we're at a standstill and we've been on one for a while. I'd say because of that, we might be cooked. Sailor Mouth was a 2001 episode of SpongeBob SquarePants that featured the characters swearing. As it's a family show, the swearing is obviously censored, but the voice actors actually swore, and the original audio has never been released. I actually have a personal connection to this piece of lost media. I remember my little cousin bringing over a VHS or a DVD containing the episode to our grandma's house, and she hated it, and he got in trouble, and I did too for just watching it. Yeah, my grandma was a real Anyways, Tom Kenny, the voice actor of SpongeBob, has stated that they were ordered to use substitute words, but found it too hard, so they actually swore to make it easier on themselves. This claim has been corroborated by others who worked on the show. In 2024, animator Paul Tibbitt revealed that he had a VHS tape of the uncensored episode, but doesn't know where it went. Nickelodeon is not going to release it if they have a copy in their vault due to the controversy it would cause. But who cares? It's 2024. Anyways, if Tibbitt can find this tape and doesn't get crucified by Nick for releasing it, I think we have a good chance of it being released. I'm hopeful. But before this year, I would have said that we were cooked. Jeff the Killer was a horrendous, poorly written, and not at all scary creepypasta that tricked people into thinking it was scary thanks to the image attached to it. But more frustrating than the quality of the story is the fact that we can't find the source of this image. Now, you may have heard of the Katie Robinson story about a girl who went on 4chan and shared pictures of herself and was mocked for it, with people editing her photo into the Jeff the Killer image we know today. This is a hoax, and honestly a better story than Jeff the Killer, but I digress. The earliest known trace of a version of this picture actually appeared on a Japanese file sharing website in 2005, and it was used to troll people on the Japanese internet in the latter half of the 2000s. Now, this search is already hard enough, given that it's very hard to find still archived images from the pre-2005 internet, but the situation got further muddied when Mutahar brought money into the equation. He released a video proclaiming that he will give that sweet Canadian cash to the individual who finds the original image. I'll link to this in the description below. I'm gonna be honest, this was a bad move on Mutahar's part, because if money's involved, that means someone is bound to gatekeep the image and make finding it harder. I get that he was trying to encourage people to search for it, but it probably hasn't helped. I'll also link to Blame It on Jorge's video on the subject as well. I honestly think we're cooked with this one. This is one of the most frustrating lost media searches. Super Mario 64. You know that game that now has this weird cult surrounding it? Well, before all of that, in 2007, a video was uploaded to YouTube called Super Mario 64 Star Secret. It was a fun, simple, educational video informing players on how to get Luigi. Jesus Christ! Yeah, it was actually a screamer. It was deleted in 2012, and now all that's left of it are reactions. So I'll let you slide calling it partially found this time. The uploader of the video doesn't even have the original video themselves, so our best hope is that someone downloaded it. I'll link to Marvel and Shy Valley's videos on it, along with the surviving reaction and a recreation. I'm leaning towards cooked for this one. Phantom Blood has to be the weirdest case of lost, partially found media ever. To be fair, we have a not so insignificant portion of the film available to us, but it's just the first 16 minutes with no dialogue, so it's more lost. We also have trailers and a 2004 test animation. It's an animated adaptation of the first part of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Haha, insert funny JoJo reference joke here. The film received a full theatrical release in Japan in 2007, and that, along with it being based on one of the most popular manga in the world, would lead you to believe it isn't lost, but it is. It was critically panned, and it's theorized that this is the reason it never received a home media release, which is kind of insane. In 2022, animator Junichi Hayama was asked why it never received a home release, to which he replied, "I don't want you to see me angry, so it is better if I don't answer this question." creepy. What we have of this film seems pretty mediocre, but nothing worth pulling out of theaters, not releasing on home video, and warning a response like that. It seems like it may be related to another JoJo anime, the 2000 adaptation of Stardust Crusaders, which was recalled in 2008 due to religious controversy that I won't get into. I'll link to L Supersonic Q's video about this film. Like I said before, it's shocking that a theatrically released film based on one of the most popular Japanese franchises is mostly lost, but I hope something comes out of it. Despite how long it's been, I still have hope, as there's no evidence that any prints of the film were destroyed or anything. Saki Sanobashi, aka Go for a Punch, was a lost anime. A hoax! It was a hoax! I'm only including this entry in the video to put this to rest. There are people delusional enough to still believe this is real, but I ask you this, do you really think a guy on 4chan cried himself to sleep over a Japanese cartoon? I would have believed it if the writing of the 4chan post was more subtle, but it's not. It's extremely over the top. I think the reason people keep holding on to the delusion that it's real is because it's such an intriguing idea. Well, I guess I should tell you just in case you don't know. In 2015, a 4chan thread was posted to the paranormal board asking people for what the scariest thing they've seen on the deep web was. Naturally, as this is 4chan, people just made fun of OP, but one post described someone who was traumatized by a 30-minute anime OVA of a bunch of naked girls trapped in a bathroom contemplating life before they decide to mildly inconvenience themselves. It's an intriguing concept, but read the posts. That's not how someone who posts on a website for edgelords would react to something like this. No one has a partial photographic memory, and I mean, I'll link to Wang's videos on it in the description. This is absolutely 100% fake.
They're not real. Stop acting like they're fucking real.
Lastly, it's kind of the most recent case on here. Celebrity number 6 has to be the craziest lost media case to me personally. I could have sworn that it was found, and Wang released a video saying, yeah, it's this picture of Brad Pitt. We found. That sounds like Charlie. Yeah, it's this picture of Brad Pitt. We found it. But I guess this is just a case of the Mandela effect. For those who don't know, a Reddit user going by the name of Tonesta posted on various subreddits asking for the sources of the images of celebrities that inspired the art on curtains that they owned. All of them were found except for the 6th celebrity's image. In fact, no one knows who celebrity number 6 even is. There was a lead, but it's kind of been debunked. I'll link to Wang's videos on the subject. I'll give this one a rating of hopeful. I mean, if I was dreaming that whole situation I described earlier, maybe dreams come true. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think is most likely and least likely to be found in the comments below. I hope that I can build my channel up to the point where I have some credibility to actively participate in lost media searches. So subscribe, follow me on that thing, or follow me on Instagram. Thank you guys for watching. If you want more lost media, check out my videos on the lost Sega Saturn build of Sonic Adventure and Doom lost media. I'm out. Peace.